Hey, what's up, everybody? No, we are not Steve Straza. If you're expecting him, sorry. For the last time, I hope. Spencer Israel and JC Peretz here with the hot corner.
Am I not good enough for you, Spencer? Am I not good enough for you? You hope that I'm gone. This is the last time for me.
Well, I don't normally do this either. This is normally Steve's thing, right? So,
so you and I, so you don't want to do it. So you don't care. Like, is that what you're saying? You don't want to do it at all?
I think our channel misses Steve. Yeah, we've got Steve's mug here on the thumbnail
and
for the
Straza
video.
loves this shit. Straza will tell you everything about the CFO and all the other times he bought. He loves this stuff. Yeah. He can't get enough of it. For me, as great, as interesting as that might be, I'm more interested in kind of just paying a little bit more attention to, or a lot more attention to this particular stock, because somebody who's more informed than I am,
right?
There's a lot of people who are more informed than I am, but you know, somebody who has information that I don't, and they're using that information to buy this particular stock, at the very least, I want to take a closer look. Like that's what, and if it's Carl Icahn filing a 13D, or the CEO of Coinbase buying stock, or, you know, a big transaction. I mean,
yeah,
for me,
it's good to know. It's really, it's good to know. As always, let's start with some macro talk, and then we'll get into the actual stocks. Again, as a reminder, the stocks that we're going to talk about today come from our universe, our hot corner universe of stocks that have had insider buying, significant insider buying in the last year more. And
yeah, you know, we'll keep it on the list for a while. We're not just going to kick it out. We just keep tabs on, these are the stocks that more informed investors are purchasing for whatever reason. They have their reasons, and we'll kind of just keep tabs on that, is really what it is. I think after 6 months, we start rotating, unless there's more purchases. Like Warren Buffett has been buying certain stocks, and he continues to buy more, so it remains on the list for sure. So let's get into it. Obviously, nothing we talk about should be construed as any sort of solicitation. These are not buy or sell recommendations at all. This is all strictly for informational purposes alone. It's good information that we find really valuable. Hopefully you do too. You know, this one is really hilarious, you know, when they tell you, oh, it's only 7 stocks going up. Well, here on an equally weighted basis, the S&P 500 is making new 52-week highs. For the record, the equally weighted NASDAQ 100 has already been making new 52-week highs for a while, by definition, making it more than 7. Magnificent or otherwise. Here's the bonds, stocks, and commodities markets all together. You know, the way I learned it, Spencer, is BSC, bonds, stocks, and commodities. And as you can see here, bonds peaked first, really sold off. Then ultimately that hit the stock market for sure. And then commodities ultimately peaked. And now we're seeing the opposite: bonds bottoming, stocks bottoming, and now have commodities bottomed as well. So a lot of the themes that we continue to see is really rotation into these more value-oriented areas, things outside of growth and technology, and things like industrials and some of the material stocks. You're seeing steel companies making new 52-week highs, the steel ETF making new 52-week highs. So there's rotation. It's the furthest thing from 7 stocks. The fact that the breadth continues to expand, like we've been seeing since last year, is not anything new. Just further evidence that that's how bull markets behave, right? That's perfectly normal. So if this is a bull market, which we've been betting on for some time now, these are the things that we should see next. Further rotation into some of the more value-oriented areas. And then keep in mind, thinking worldwide, there are countries around the world that their economies are much more industrialized, and you know, they're more mining-oriented, energy-oriented, maybe more exposure to banks. A lot of countries around the world have much more exposure to bank stocks than the United States, for example, that's really loaded with those growth stocks. So keep in mind sort of the structure globally with that respect. So the question is, when is gold going to break out, Spencer? When did you get into this business? Gold has never been in a bull market, basically, right?
I feel like we've been talking about gold at least since the start of the year, as far as gold breaking out. But I've never owned gold, right? Because as long as I've been in this business for less than a decade, right? So as long as I've been in this business, gold has not been of interest.
Got it. Imagine a world where it was, because when I was in your boat, when I was a youngster like yourself, gold was in a massive bull market, and I was a gold bug. You know, those are some good times, Spencer. Those are good times, man. Maybe not as old as you are, because when you were, maybe that was already over by the time. But nevertheless, I had experienced quite the bull run in gold, and now we're seeing it already the breakout in steel. So when I'm seeing just metals in general pushing up against these highs, like eventually, like I feel like, it's only polite to knock on the door a few times before you go barging in. And I think that's what gold is really doing here. And I think steel is a good example of one that's already resolving higher, and base metals are going up, like are maybe precious metals aren't keeping up. Maybe they're underperforming, but are they really collapsing? I mean, I just don't see it. I think if metals are going to do well, I think base and precious will probably do well together. The question is who outperforms. So far, it's the base metals really leading the way, but could you perhaps get some rotation into some precious metals? I think maybe. This one, Ian Culley, our in-house FIC analyst, fixed income, commodities, currencies, thinks that this is the best and most important chart of the second half. I have a hard time disagreeing. If this is a nice little oopsie failed breakdown, momentum getting going, you could really see a back half that's led by energy, things like materials, just a completely different beast than what you saw in the first half. And you're seeing it around the world. Look at Europe, European financials, new 52-week highs, Spencer. I was told that it was a banking crisis. Remember that banking crisis? Oh, good glory. New 52-week highs for European banks, and then the dollar is really the big one. As we're recording this around 1:15 on Wednesday, the 26th of July of 2023. We are awaiting, some FOMC shenanigans that is likely to move markets in a volatile way, at least maybe not historically volatile, but certainly more volatile than what we've likely seen in the, than we've seen in the recent weeks and months with no volatility in the stock market whatsoever. So maybe this might give a little spark to that. And I think the dollars, where that settles by the end of the week and how we get going next week, I think is going to be a big indication as to the direction of stocks. If this is an oopsie and the dollar's ripping higher, I think stocks are under pressure in that environment, right? But if this is just a retest of that breakdown level, the dollar remains below that 101.50 and the dollar rolls over again, that's the most bullish thing that I can imagine for equities and that rotation that we're just talking about into some metals. I really think it's dollar dependent, Spencer. I don't think a weaker dollar is a want for that trade to succeed. I firmly believe that it is a need, and I'll let the market prove otherwise. So far, consistently, it is not. Anybody who's tried to fight that dollar correlation has suffered the consequences, and we continue to be rewarded for respecting those correlations and truly understanding the impact that the dollar is having in this particular market environment. It's not the late 90s. It's 2023, July of 26 of 2023. Spencer, it's not the 90s.
A newsflash, not the 90s. Okay, let's move on to some of these individual names here. The first one, this is a filing from yesterday. Symbotic is the company. SYM is the ticker, and there was a $500 million investment made in the company by SoftBank. Actually, this is the result of a joint venture. This was announced a couple of days ago. SoftBank entered into a joint venture with Symbotic, where they're basically providing, like, Symbotic does like warehouse automation stuff, and they're talking about it's WAS, WAAS, warehouse as a service. It's not software as a service; it is warehouse as a service, and they're
good business.
Good business, apparently.
I guess so. I like it. Listen, if it's above 41, this is a long all day, baby. 41. I'm probably gonna buy some myself here on this little dipperoo and reversal. I'm not sure if there was was there earnings or something like that, the reason that it's up so much, but this is really nice. Catching support down near the bottom of the range, strong uptrend. This is a really interesting one. If we're below 40, can't touch it. 40, 41, that's the level. Below that, it's messy.
This is a really big transaction. This is the company Symbotic. They only have like 60.
I know, but aren't these SoftBank cats just like throwing money around? Like, this ain't no thing, is it for them?
That's their reputation. But Symbotic only has like 63 million shares outstanding, and SoftBank just bought like 20 million of those.
Keep in mind, it's got a 23. It's only a $23 billion market cap. This thing can still quadruple before getting to $100 billion, and it's an industrial stock technically in the machinery space, but like Spencer said, more on the technology side. Hence why SoftBank's probably getting involved, but. Whatever it is they do, stock likes it. And by the way, this is Spencer Israel, who hates SPACs, here talking positively about this one. All right, Spencer, one you like, right? One for the good guys.
Don't know if I like it, but
if it's above 41, I like it. I'm going to buy some today, as a matter of fact. So if it's above 41. All right. So here's Fiserv here breaking out. I mean, the way that we look at breadth, a lot of people like to cheat and be like, oh, percentage of stocks above the 50-day. Oh, percentage of stocks above the 200-day JZ, like all kinds of different things. Or you could just sit there and you could just count, right? I like counting. And, we continue to see more and more stocks sort of breaking out of their bases, right? And then this one's selling off back down to retest that base right around 240, successfully retested it today, sitting around 127. I like this buy on a retest. It's going to take some time. VA Partners with a $47 million Form 4. That is a monster transaction, and they are very profitable on that trade. As you could see, that essentially marked the bottom in that stock. Right,
that was May. It was May of last year. Yeah,
good. They crushed that trade, bro. Look at that, 47 million. So they already almost not doubled their money, but they are up. They're up 40. They're up 40% on that. So quick 20 milli, no big deal. No big deal. No, nice trade there. All right. So here's Worthington Industries, WOR. Listen, a breakout above that would be very encouraging, right? I mean, again, when you wonder what is the stock going to do as it approaches that level, I think it's important to see what the other stocks that are approaching that level, what they're doing, right? Take a look at some of the others, and we continue to see more and more new highs. Now, 75 is a big level here. This is the first time that we get back to those former highs. So can we just expect this to blow right through that level, regardless of how much money David Blum thinks he should be investing behind this? Like, it's nice to know that there are directors buying, right? And it calls, further attention on a $3.5 billion metal fabrication company here. This is an industrial stock out of Columbus, Ohio. David Blum likes it. And listen, if we're above 75, we're not. If we are, I like this one from the long side. Be a little patient with this one. Might take a little longer than you'd like. Illinois Toolworks, speaking of industrials, so many industrials, Spencer, huh?
Yeah, there's a few. Not sure what that says about where we are in the cycle. Wait, did you just skip Worthington?
No, I said we wanted to buy a breakout above 75.
Yes, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. This is Illinois Toolworks. They love industrial stocks in the Midwest, Spencer. They really love them. They love their engineering and machines and whatnot, right?
Yeah, this is one actually. They had two insider buys on the same day back in October of last year. So anyway,
the human sort of the geography bias is very strong in the Midwest. You see a lot of investors investing in other industrial stocks out in California. They're investing in a lot more technology. Over in the Northeast, humans just want to invest more in financials and things like that. In Texas, of course, they're all investors in oil and gas stocks. In Vancouver, right? Like, your geography bias is very strong, and we see that in the Midwest with industrial stocks. It's really, really fascinating here. So here, David Byron Smith Jr. here buying 300 grand worth of stock. Breakout there above 250. I like this one. Puts it at new 52-week highs. Gives us a target up near 300. Gives you exposure into that industrial space. If you don't have enough, I own more Caterpillar than I know what to do with, so I'm good with that sort of investment. But if you're not good, here's a decent candidate that I like above 250. Clearly, this particular gentleman seems to like it, and it's working out pretty well for him. And then here, a director from Walmart putting a cool milli. No big deal. Cool milli there in Walmart. Buying the dip here. Very nice. Very nice.
What's funny about the Walmart is if you look at the insider transactions in Walmart, the Walton family, right? Jim, Alice. I think it's just those two, right? Jim and Alice. They own so much Walmart. They're doing these pre-planned sales, right? But they're selling like a milli here, a milli there.
Yeah.
But they own like 1 billion shares.
Yeah, they actually own half the shares, are insiders.
Yeah. So if you just look, you'll see like relentless selling, but like they're selling like 0.1% of their ownership.
Yeah, I mean, this is like crazy generational wealth of billions of dollars. Like, it takes, you got to like distribute that. Of course, they're doing the right thing. I mean, I think,
Yeah.
But interesting director who's not in the position of owning so many shares, actually believes he's underinvested. Went out there and bought a cool milli worth of stock. No big deal. Above 160, I like that. We're right here right now. I'm not convinced that it's going to be so easy just to rip through that level. I could be wrong. We rip through that level and the market doesn't care what JC thinks. Happens all the time, as a matter of fact. But that doesn't change the fact that if we're below those former highs, you can't touch it. We want to be long only if we're above that 160. Target up near 187. Here's Roper Technologies. This is a long time back in the day. This was a big winner for All-Star Charts way back in the day. Really, really interesting. ROP. This is an industrial stock, if my memory serves. Let's see. Pretty sure this is nope. I am totally wrong. This is software. Why did I think this was an industrial stock? Maybe I'm confusing it with a different one. I think I might be thinking about with tech. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is a software stock. Actually makes a lot of sense because it looks like a software stock. This is what a lot of software stocks look like. We want to be buyers above 500. Currently, it is not above 500. So look for a breakout there. Again, is that like in so many of these other cases, like, is this going to be the breakout? Is that going to be the breakout? Is this going to be the breakout? Like, we're right there in a lot of areas. So mark your, set your alerts. Alerts are really helpful for this sort of stuff. I find it, because you're like, okay, I want to be notified if it closes above this level. Then you'll get an alert. Be like, right? Very, very helpful. Do you use alerts, Spencer? I feel like you don't.
Not as much as I probably should. I'm just looking at this Richard Wallman guy, right? This guy has bought about 1.7. He spent $1.7 million on Roper's stock in the last, call it 2 years.
You think he's doing that because he thinks the stock goes down?
I doubt it.
Right.
Yeah. I doubt it.
Right. So nevertheless, this particular gentleman is welcome to, YOLO this all he wants. And that's good for him. He's welcome to do that. But for us, we're only going to YOLO if it's above 500. If it's below 500, then Mr. Wallman over here, he's on his own. Above 500, I like it long. Target up near close to 600, up near 590. And then here's Sherwin-Williams. So this is a chemical stock technically, right?
Well, it's paint, right?
Yeah, but there's no paint sector in America. It's a specialty chemical. So it goes into basic materials.
I mean, I guess. So sometimes you have to stretch a little bit to just to
there's just no paint. There's no paint sector, Spencer.
Yeah, no,
like a sector of painting companies.
Look, sometimes putting a company in a box isn't that easy, right? But whatever. Anyway.
Material stock making new 52-week highs. I'm telling you, Spencer, we're seeing broadening into other more value-oriented areas that led off the lows, for the record. They were the original leaders before tech and growth took over this year. So here we go, 283. I like a breakout here. Clearly, their chairman and CEO, $500,000? I don't know. It seems like it's not enough. Like, it seems like a piker trade. What do you think? Am I wrong?
No,
am I giving him tim a hard time?
That's a little harsh. That's
the 72. He's the CEO of a $72 billion company. It's not nothing. And he's buying $500,000 worth of stock. He could do better than that. I feel like.
Well, this is just the one transaction from January of this year, but he also bought more February. Let's see, February of last year. How far back to? Oh, that's it. Just two. Never mind. I take that back. Not that much. Yeah, you're right.
Seems like a piker transaction.
Yeah, you're right.
This guy, John G. Morcus. I mean, unless he's not loaded, like he doesn't have to be loaded. Let's see. Because for me, like if it's a big piece of his net worth, like maybe he just doesn't have a lot. Says his net worth is $86 million. He bought $1 million worth of stock.
Yeah, it's not a lot. Not a lot.
So you would say that, well, I would say if your net worth is 86 and you bought $1 million worth of stock that you already own, I would say that's not nothing. I would say, right? No?
It's maybe, but either way, let's move on. I don't think it's probably worth spending this much time on.
So just like, who cares? If it's above 283, then you buy it. If you don't, who cares how much this guy's buying? Right. Fair enough. All right. Here's Zoetis. Here's Alan Lowenthal. Are you familiar with this Mr. Lowenthal?
Can't say I am. Nope.
He is I guess he's the congressman of some sort of one of the states, California, as it turns out. All right. So he's a rep in California, and he likes this stock here, Zoetis. So, all right. So listen, that's good enough for me. And if we're above 187, I like it. Completing this base. What do you think about that?
Looks good. It looks good. I did see a chart. I'm trying to find it now. It was on Twitter a little while ago. Someone.
This is your neighbor, Spencer, in Parsippany, right by you.
Oh, geez, that's not far from me actually.
Yeah, $88 billion drug manufacturer there from New Jersey. Shout out Jersey.
Someone quantified like the Congress people that had done the most transactions on just an absolute dollar basis, and I want to find there was one guy that had done way more than everyone else.
Tommy Tuberville.
No, it was way more than Tommy, way more than Pelosi, but I can't find it. It was like an hour ago I saw it, and I didn't book. I'm so bad.
All right, send it over. We'll take a look.
So bad at bookmarking tweets that I know I never do it, and I always mean to, and then I lose them and they're gone forever. I'll find it. Whatever. Let's move on.
All right. So nevertheless, from New Jersey or otherwise, Alan Lowenthal likes it. I like the base here. We're seeing a lot of this, right? A lot of these rounding bottoms. Been seeing them for a while. More and more keep breaking out. So like I said before, like if you see these patterns over and over again and you wonder how it's going to resolve, you want to see how the other ones are resolving, and they're resolving higher. So above 187, I like it long. Target near 250. Here's XP. They're filing a 13D. General Atlantic buying 5.7% of the company. All right. Is that a lot?
What was the amount?
$14 billion company. Yeah. It's not nothing. A few hundred milli.
It's a lot.
Is that a lot?
I think so.
All right. So it's $14 billion. So this is a capital market stock. These capital markets, Brazilian capital markets. Okay. I see you. Based in the Cayman Islands, but they do business. All right. So it's a nice little shady capital markets company out of the Cayman Islands. Yeah, I'm sure they're doing everything by the book. So clearly they're one of these investors really likes what they're doing. So if we are above 26.5, 27, I like it with them. Look at that former support there, right? We're sitting right here, right now, just under 27. We're above. Listen, do you see these former lows, early 2022? See that? We're above that. I like it long, target up near 37. And then here's Ecovest. Ecovest?
I don't know. Sorry. I was wondering that myself. I don't know.
So another specialty chemicals company based out of Pennsylvania. Shout out PA, Bucks County in the house. So this is Ecovest. So it's a chemicals company. All right. And they do a bunch of business in Europe. Fantastic. Johnny Gin's filing a 14. Again, small transaction, 360. But again, there's that base. How many times have we seen that base? Look at these bases, right? Look at these bases. Zoetis, XP, Ecovest. See that? All of them, exact same thing. So above 12, I like this long, target near 14.5. And then here's Grief. By the way, that Ecovest is a small little market cap, 1.4. So just for the record. And then here's Grief, GEF. Here's a CFO buying $250,000 worth of stock. It's funny because there's $249,832. So whatever his commission was, it's funny.
I've been looking and I can't find this graphic. I'm sorry. I've been looking for the last minute and I officially give up.
So this is a $3.5 billion packaging container company. All right, based out of Delaware, Ohio. I didn't know there was a Delaware, Ohio.
Dude, there are so many states that are also towns in other states. So many. Pretty sure there's like multiple towns called Texas.
Well, here's Lawrence Allen Hilschmeyer is buying this base above 73. I like this one long. He was buying in March. Probably got a really nice price down here. Above 73.25. He puts us above those 2007, 2008 highs. I like that from the long side. Target up near 103. This one's a packaging company. $3.5 billion. $3.5 billion has a decent amount of liquidity, but it's not a big company. So just kind of keep that in mind. Listen, I love doing this. I'm fascinated by these. I don't know if you know this, Spencer, but some of the first trades I ever put on in my entire career was really following some of these insider transactions. So there's a special place in my heart when I first.
Really?
Yeah. So because listen, there's a million reasons why an insider might want to sell. His own company stock, diversification, but
there's only one reason to buy.
One reason why they're buying. And if this dude, and I remember like in 06, there was, and 05, 06, Tom Ward and Aubrey McClendon, rest in peace. These guys were buying millions of dollars worth of CHK every day. It was crazy. In the single digits, in the teens, stock shot up to 70. I made so much money. for the last time in my entire life, I actually sold all of the CHK the day that it peaked. Okay. I kid you not. Never again. It was like 73 or something like that. Literally the day it peaked, I sold it all. And and then it turned into a penny stock or whatever ended up happening with CHK, and Aubrey McClendon is no longer with us. But nevertheless, those experiences had a strong impact in my life. So when you wonder why I get so excited over this stuff, it's who I am, Spencer. I'm a gold bug through and through from the beginning, and insider transactions. That's.
Oh, here we go. I found it. Wow, that took a long time. Josh Gottheimer. I don't know who he is, but he has. This is from Genuine Impact is the source here. Estimated $64 million worth of trading. This is for last year, the last calendar year, so 2022. But anyway, $64 million.
What's his name?
Josh Gottheimer, Gottheimer. He has his activity has trounced everybody else. Anyway,
he's a young dude, so he's just he seems pretty young.
All righty.
And he's from New Jersey.
Would you expect anything else?
Born in Livingston, New Jersey.
I'm familiar. That's yeah. I've got some family there. All right.
Shout out Livingston.
That'll be a wrap for us here, Straza. We'll be back next week, guys. Any questions, comments, concerns? Please email us. The email is at the bottom of the screen. You can always call us 323-421-7910 to learn more about what we're offering. And of course, open the hot corner. It comes out every single day, Monday through Friday, with the biggest transactions from Washington to Wall Street to the boardrooms for that day. And that's a wrap, I think.
Adios.
Bye, guys.